Once upon a time, about 10 years ago, there was a little church, a pastor, a few praying members with a CD player. The pastor would lead the worship service with the CD player since there were no one else to do that job. Hi, my name is Eric Jarvis. I'm pastor of the First Assembly of God in South Haven, Michigan, a town of about 5,000 people situated on the shores of Lake Michigan, the southwest corner of the city. One day, a guy with a guitar joined the little church. The only problem was he didn't quite know how to play the guitar. He sat in the church office week after week, learning how to play his instrument, one song at a time. Soon he began playing a few songs in the church, fumbling through chords, hoping the strings wouldn't break. The guy and the pastor prayed with faith that God would raise up people, psalmists and Levites, to help lead the congregation in worship. A couple of years went by, and the guy met a girl, and they got married. She was the first answer to prayer and added a bit of harmony to the voices raised up in worship.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see.
The church slowly began to grow, and God answered prayers once again. A keyboard and 3 vocals were added to form a bona fide worship team.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see.
God was building a worship team, but there were still a few gaps that needed to be filled. A couple of years later, a few congregation members were inspired to try their hand at learning new instruments. 2 guitar players, a bass player, and a much-needed drummer joined the team.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see.
Now, the platform, and the music for that matter, began to get crowded. Yet God continued to bless the little church with more worshipers. Again, a drummer, a keyboardist, and a vocalist were added to the mix. Finally, the platform could bear it no longer. There was no room to move, and the floor was beginning to give way in a poorly constructed stage. The decision was made to divide into 2 alternating teams. Those who had the week off were still leading by example throughout the congregation. Since then, we have added yet another bass player, a vocalist, and reconstructed our stage. This story may seem like a fairy tale, but it's our story of our church, First Assembly of God in South Haven, Michigan. We realize that God has abundantly answered our specific prayers to raise up worshipers who are willing to step out and lead others. It has been a long road. Most of our worship team members joined with little or no experience on their instruments or on a worship team. We have learned much, and we are still learning as we move forward for God. We strive to strengthen our teams through worship seminars, prayer, and personal practice. However, new resources and equipment would enhance our music as an avenue of worship for believers. We hope that you will choose to help us
Upgrade